to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and with me today is Beth Mills, a military student transition consultant with MESAC, and also Dr. Gail Flanagan, who is the project director for Operation Thrive. Thank you both for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that we're going to be talking about an update to Operation Thrive. We kicked it off, I think it was back in September at Camp Allen, this $1 million grant that we had with Norfolk Public Schools. So I could ask either one of you this question. Tell us briefly, what is Operation Thrive and how many schools are involved?
Well, essentially we launched the grant, which was awarded back in August, September by the Department of Defense Education Activity. And they awarded Norfolk $1.5 million for the design that was presented in the application. And that involves 10 schools. It was an ambitious thing to really go with 10 schools, but we did, and they include Bayview, Ocean View, all the views.
All the views. Bayview, Ocean View.
Ocean View, Willoughby, Willard, Larchmont is included. Tarleton, Beth, I'm trying to remember what are the rest of the schools. Calcott is in there. So we have 10 of those schools who are involved in the grant.
Great. And Beth, what's your role with Operation Smile? I want to say Smile, Operation Thrive.
Correct, yeah.
That is an organization.
Right. A lot of acronyms in the military, I know, and we live in a military town, so it's very hard, I know, with all of them. Yes. I'm your military student transition consultant for Norfolk Public Schools. I'm hired through MSEC, which is Military Child Education Coalition, and I give a continuation of care for transitioning students of the military in and out of the district. I also handle the 10 grant schools and make sure offering professional development for teachers, principals, to help bring things like impact aid and other type of professional development to the district.
And Dr. Flanagan, what is your role with Operation Smile?
Thrive. The other two schools I left out were Sewell's Point and Camp Allen.
Yes, thank you.
The schools with the highest concentration. Wow.
You're not alone.
My role is to I'm part-time, first of all, project director, so my role is to really manage the staff, the resources, the budget, a lot of those administrative, but to also coordinate activities and strategies that really follow the goal of the project, Operation Thrive.
So what's the criteria for these schools to be involved in this grant?
Well, when we were designing the grant, we decided to, first of all, do a needs assessment survey with teachers across we took across several schools to find out what they needed to learn about the military-connected students and families. And we used that, and then we also looked at the impact aid data to see where the highest concentration percentage of students were at, because that was important to the Department of Defense, that we target, the schools with the highest concentrations. So we balanced between their requirements and our needs, and the design of the goal to work on the social-emotional support for those schools.
Why do you think the military felt it was necessary to create this type of grant for those students?
We live in a very, as I said, a very high impact town as far as the military is concerned, and joint forces, as I'm wearing purple, the color of the joint forces today. And I do believe that being military myself and looking at the connectedness between Norfolk Public Schools and bridging the gap to the installations, to the community, with more of a need to understand all of our stakeholders, the socio-emotional impact of being a military kid and the military lifestyle. So helping all of Norfolk come into an education on that, and to as she said, assess the needs of the district, and we found that we really truly do need a lot of help in that area.
And what is a military lifestyle? You can assume what it is, but what are some of the lifestyle issues that they deal with?
I was a military brat. My father was in the Navy for 33 years and married military, and it is one of the issues where socio-emotional components of flexibility, students are dealing with transition, they're dealing with mobility issues, they're dealing with reintegration, they're dealing with deployment. There's a host of issues that a military kid will embrace in their lifetime, not to mention the average student will move 6 to 9 times in their life. A military child.
And so you mentioned professional development earlier.
Absolutely.
So what type of professional development or training do our teachers receive for this grant?
One of the first is the socio-emotional issues of our military students and the connectiveness they need to feel. And of course, we're backing that up with training. We just did some training with ES2S, and I'll let Dr. Flanagan discuss that a little bit more to bring into the schools. We had a wonderful training to help in that regard. Professional development will also, we're looking at Impact Aid is one of those, and also the Military Compact MIC3.
Yeah, explain to me the training.
Okay, we
And who's
also, the major part of the training is to really create a base or foundation and capacity for the teachers in the, primarily in the grant schools, but we do include parents. We had the PTA president from one school. We also had a community grant volunteer come on board, so we did include them in the training as well. We got together and it's outsourced professional specialized training directed to understanding so that teachers could understand about the military life of the students, about strategies in the classroom and at the school level. The principals were there, and Beth had organized them in teams, so it really worked perfectly for them to all work together, you know, and really work towards what they could actually take away to their school and their classrooms.
And what exactly do you want the principals to take away, and are they utilizing some of the training they received?
They are. They have, because they have the team, and especially the ones who were able to attend, they were already energized into, Beth came up with a great idea of footprints. The culminating activity was for them to think about what could they do to support it, what would be their plan. Ultimately, we'll develop that into a school blueprint, and right now we're kind of just setting the stage, the basic components. So they listed things like the welcome packet, even an exit packets, because we serve those students not just when they enter, but also when they exit. Then we also have different strategies they came up with that fit the culture of their particular school.
What other activities do you think you're going to have coming down the line or in the future?
Well, right now we're getting ready to Purple Up, which is going to be Month of the Military Child, which is April. And our ES2S teams, we have one already that is Willard, that is on board with wanting to do a Tell Me a Story. And that is, of course, where they will have someone come in. I think it's April 15th is going to be their TMAS. And it is where literature will embrace the military. It is a wonderful component to Month of the Military Child.
And so who else will receive training?
Well, we will formulate training probably for small cohorts, like maybe for the counselors spread across the 10 grant schools might cohort together, and they have special aspects of the military life of the child that they are dealing with. Then also maybe parent liaisons, I think, is an important group because of their contact with the families. Then also we're looking at possibly one of the other activities the school came up with is a ready room. And of course that's a military designation.
Yeah, explain what that is.
Right, I'm looking at Beth for that to kind of say that clearly. But it's like a transition area. It can be an area or a special room where families and also students can go to for materials or just to chat with someone in terms of their readiness in the schools.
So why do you all think this grant is so important for Norfolk schools? Just because we're a military area, or?
I think that it's very important that we connect with the military students to help them with the socio-emotional aspects of being in the military, as well as academic press. The three things under the grant are academic press, trying to help them when they do transition from out of country into Norfolk or out of state into Norfolk or vice versa. Also with safety and trust. Those other two components are in the grant. And because they are dealing with so many other issues as military students, they serve too. And we need to be I guess, more aware of what's going on with them in the schools, at the school level.
And so what's next for Operation Thrive, and how long is the grant for?
It's a 5-year grant. And it does, by the way, include not just the military students, but it does include all students at the school. They can receive all the services that the grant provides as well. They're not left out. But the other piece of it, I think, in terms of the importance is we're at a point where the millennial generation is really entering the workforce. So our teachers tend to be millennials, the administrators are going to be millennials. So, you know, we need, I think, an update for that generation in our workforce. So, you know, we need to bring in update information even about the military. The military's changed. You know, they've gone a lot to special forces, and that has a different kind of impact on children rather than a typical deployment, you know, where the parent disappears overnight. So I think we need to look at the up-to-date pieces of the military and the educational aspects too.
Right. So what do you think is coming up next for Operation Thrive?
Again, I have to say it'll be purpling up for April. We definitely want to get all of Norfolk on board for Month of the Military Child. Also, making sure that all stakeholders are educated in the needs of socio-emotional academic success for our military kids.
Great. I'm glad you all came on the show today to kind of update us on what's happening with Operation Thrive since we kicked it off in late August, September.
Yes.
Yes. This is awesome. Thank you both, and we look
Thank
forward
you.
to hearing more about Operation Thrive this school year.
Right,
Thank
thank you.
you.
We want to thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today we're going to talk a little bit about swimming, and we have from Lake Taylor High School, Nicole Justice, the head coach. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
And she has brought one of her swimmers, Jayshawn Marks. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, let's get right into it. Let's talk about your season. How's it going? And
Well, right now the boys are 2-2 and the girls are 1-3, which doesn't seem like very good averages, but I'm okay with it because throughout the season, even if we're not winning the meets, all of my kids are improving and dropping time. Some of them are dropping over a minute each meet.
okay, so talk about how the season has. You've started, you know, back in November. How have you shaped this season to have these gains?
Well, we started the season off and we let all the kids know you're expected to come to practice, you're expected to try your best, and you're expected to maintain your grades. From there, we did a week of freestyle, then a week of backstroke, a week of breaststroke, and a week of butterfly. Because we told all the kids, yes, you're probably going to do one stroke more often, but everyone's going to know every stroke. So that, one, that's going to help your individual stroke, knowing the other ones and having that muscle. And two, I'll have you at a meet if I need to.
Okay, so how many are on a team for swimming?
Our team is down to about 12 kids at the moment. Typically, you have about 12 boys and 12 girls, though.
Okay, so at the start of the season, sounds like the practices are tough. You got to really see what kind of who can do what in events. So,
Correct.
what number did you start with, and obviously we know where you are right now.
We started with closer to 30 or 40, but some of the kids didn't like us expecting them to maintain good attitudes in the classroom and at practice, and some of them didn't like us requiring them to show up practice regularly, so that caused some kids to drop out.
Okay. Well, Jayshawn, you've showed up to practice regularly, so you're persevering through this season. So talk about your events. What events do you swim in?
I swim the 500 freestyle, the 100 breaststroke. Then for teams, I swim the 200 medley relay and the 200 freestyle relay.
Okay. So how long have you been involved in swimming?
I started my sophomore year, and I've been stuck on it since then.
Okay. All right. Coach, you know, he's a sophomore. A lot of swimmers are going at an earlier age. How do we get people involved at an earlier age, not just coming into high school, but maybe before and being ready for tough practices?
One of the things that would be nice is if the middle schools could have a team. I know up in the Richmond area and the elementary schools, they work with the local YMCAs, and all the, I believe it's the 4th graders, all get swim lessons throughout the school year. So if there was a way to work with some of the local gyms or rec centers to get it involved then, so the kids learn at an earlier age and start an interest in it sooner.
Right. So how did you get involved, and what do you like most about swimming?
Well, first I thought about it because I had a lot of friends on the team. Like, okay, it'll be fun. We have people that want us to do it. And like after the first practice, I was tired. I didn't like it at all. Like I started swimming, my time started going down, started having more fun with it, and I'm addicted to it. It's fun. It's a nice stress relief after a long day of school.
So what makes this guy a good swimmer?
He definitely has the heart for it. He's motivated every day to not only improve himself, but his teammates, and he works hard. He understands that he has to push himself in order to keep improving.
Okay. So everybody doesn't have a pool at their school. Maury High School does, and it's utilized a lot. But the city also has invested some time and money into some community pools, and we've been able to take advantage of those. So talk about some of the challenges that you may have as a coach, a team, about going off campus to swim.
We have a lot of issues with it. Right now we're between 2 different pools. So for one, we have to take our equipment and move it to the pool, take it back to the school every day since we don't have a set place to store it. The kids, it's a lot harder for them to stay back, whether it's for extra help on their classes or to see the trainer. If they end up staying back, that means they miss the entire practice because we have no way to get them from the school. So even if it's normal, like other teams can see the trainer for like 15 minutes and then go to practice. My kids may only need the trainer for 15 minutes, but they miss the entire practice because of that.
Okay. So the pools that we swim in Norfolk, Northside has a pool, Huntersville, and then the new Southside pool is available to us, and that's a very nice venue.
Yes, it's awesome.
That I think that's where you practice. Correct?
Every other week we're at Southside, and then the other weeks we're at Huntersville.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about practice now. We know practice is in the pool, but there's also a dry land practice. Talk about the differences. Obviously, we know the difference, but what are some of the things that you do in the pool versus off on the deck?
In the pool, we're doing things to either help with their stroke technique, their breath control, or just minor tweakings on the turns or the stroke itself. Once we get to the dry land, we do a lot of exercises that will help the core and the leg strength, and I try to find ones that kind of mimic what we're doing in the water. So for example, jump squats. I've started doing a lot of jump squats because that's the same action they get when they push off the wall. And same thing, lunge jumps, because that's closer to diving off the block, and a lot of core work.
All right, Jay Sean, what practice do you like? Do you like the pool? Do you like?
I definitely prefer the pool.
All right.
Because you may be working hard, but you don't notice you're sweating or how hot you get. But once you get the dry land, you're not used to it, so you're like, why is it so hot? Why am I sweating so much? It feels gross, and it feels a lot harder.
All right. So what are some of your goals for the remainder of the season, and then what are some of the team goals?
Mine, I
The
definitely.
coach can answer the team goals.
I definitely want to get my 500 freestyle to at least 6 minutes, so I'm gonna have to like kick a lot harder, push a lot harder on that, and I want to make it to regionals definitely for both, but it's gonna be quite a challenge.
All right, Coach. What about the team goals?
One of my goals is definitely for everyone to make it to regionals. If I have someone make it to states, that'd be amazing, but I'm not going to be disappointed if we don't. And definitely the main goal, though, is for everyone to keep improving and dropping their times, because as long as they're beating their own self, I'm happy.
Okay. Jay Sean, I'm going to go back and ask you one more question. The teams, you know, the number of participants is kind of low right now. What do you think you can do to help recruit student athletes to participate in swimming? How can you promote that to your fellow students?
Well, first to tell them that we don't all have to wear Speedos. There are jammers, so you're not wearing tiny things. And it's actually fun. You can make bonds with people. You get to work out. You're getting fit. It's not as hard as working out at the gym like dry land. So it's a good workout. It's fun. It's just a team building exercise.
Okay. Coach, anything to add to that to help recruitment?
I've tried this year talking with some of the fall athletes, and I'm gonna do it when the spring comes around. Swimming is great cross training for pretty much every sport because you use muscles that you don't normally use on land, and the ones that are the same you're using opposite because you're not fighting gravity, you're fighting the water. So a big thing would just be encouraging all these athletes. It's gonna help with your breath control, it's gonna help with your muscles. So just getting the other sports athletes to realize that they can do it and it will improve their own sport.
Okay. Well, I attend a lot of swim meets, and one thing that I notice all the time is that the student athletes, they have a good time being at the meet. Not besides the competition, but they really enjoy the meet itself. So, well, we wish you good luck in the remainder of the season, and Jayshawn, continued success in your challenges to get to that regional level.
Thank you.
Thank you. More NPS Now after this.
We want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.